Got Mike and Mike at night. Where y'all at? Where y'all at tonight? You know it's all about that Black Friday.
Yes,
We're gonna
sir.
talk today about how we gonna. Well, I'll let you know. You know how we gonna do it today. Check this out. It's Mike at night. At night. So if you hear at nighttime, you're here at the right time.
Yeah, baby.
Our news, our business.
All day.
And we all about that love, support, and protect. That's what we supposed to be doing. Taking care of each other out in this crazy world right now. We can't depend on anybody else to do it, so we're going to have to do it for ourselves. But you know, you guys notice I got on the polo, say Germany on it. My boy came into the studio, and he dropped some jewels on me. So I told him, you know what, you need to tell the people about that. You know, when you get on.
Yeah, so I seen the Germany shirt on him, and everybody knows what happened back in Germany, the Holocaust, 6 million Jews murdered, all those things about that. And I was reading the article, and I want to say it was New York Magazine, but it was coming from CNN. But it was talking about the fact that in Germany, there are no symbols, swastika symbols, in no history museums. There are no statues of Hitler erect or anybody from the Third Reich. Any other people that was fighting in the wars, the generals, the captains, and everything like that. There is no commemoration of those guys, because basically they went against Germany. They turned Germany into a dictatorship. They killed innocent men, women, and children.
Sounds familiar, don't it?
And they weren't about sharing. They weren't about freedom. They're about keeping other people down and keeping the whole race down, and did whatever they could to keep that whole race down. They robbed them of all their riches. I mean, it came down to they took gold teeth, killed them, and took the gold teeth out their mouth.
Now, it's funny. Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny how we're supposed to be a progressive nation. We're supposed to be integrated. We're supposed to be ahead of the curve on a lot of things. But as we know as black people, that we're behind the curve on so many different things.
We're supposed to be a melting pot. Everybody's supposed to come to America for that freedom. You know, all the movies that you watch one night, they coming from the boat and everything, and you see the Statue of Liberty, and that's supposed to stand for the land of the free, the home of the brave, and things of that nature. But yet, you have some place like Germany that has a history, a negative history from American standpoint of view. But what they've done in their country is they was like, we're not going to have any of these old school hate symbols. We're not going to fly those flags. We're not going to have a group of
And that's
people,
pretty much my point,
that
because
represents that.
that war ended in what? In 1945.
Yeah.
So that war ended. This is how long ago? Now we're talking about 75 years ago. They knew that if they allowed some of those things to exist in that culture, that it could probably corrupt some of the people that were still there, and could probably fester and grow again, and could come and grow again. But us as America, we were still getting through it. Yeah. 45, we had just began the act of racial equality. The only thing that had been settled at that point was slavery. Now, I do understand this is Black Friday, so we talking about black businesses. But we wanted to throw that in there for y'all today, because a lot of you all, I think, could benefit from hearing about, the history in other countries and how they handled the whole racist movement.
Yeah, and you straight, you said, no, that's a negative thing. We're not going to erect statues. We're not going to honor those who went against our country. And did an insurrection, because that's what the Civil War was. It was an insurrection against the United States. It was people who said that after we won our freedom and our independence from England, that now we don't want to go the way that everyone else is going. We don't want to have freedom, equality for all men, because it says in the the Declaration all men were created equal. We don't want that. we want to enslave, we want to keep people in bondage, and that's what that flag stands for. And they're honored for that today. Insurrection, treason is honored here in America when in other countries they've done away with it, and that's part of the reason why we still have the issue that we have. So,
Well put, and well said.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into our whole Black Friday. Now, while my brother sits here and gets these black businesses up, because
Yeah.
we're gonna keep plugging y'all. We need to make sure that we love supporting and protecting. So while we plugging you guys right now, letting you guys know what black businesses are out there that you can frequent, that you can deal with, that you can move with, that you can interact with. Some of the guests that we've even had here on our show have actually been able to network, talk about different things and how they do different things and exchange information. So if nothing else, this is a platform to exchange information so that the people can be put in touch with the products or the goods and services. A business is an exchange of funds for a good or a service. That's what business is. So in the black community, we're concentrated on love, support, and protecting each other. And for the goods and services that we provide, we want to first start at home and love, protect, support each other and trade that income between ourselves before we take it elsewhere. So if you could go ahead and plug those black-owned
and then
businesses.
I want to say, next week we talked to a couple. We may be going on location to businesses. So
Well, don't tell them maybe. Tell them we'll be on location.
We're gonna be on location.
Yeah.
We just talked to a business owner today. We're gonna be on location at his business, and so we just trying to hash out the day. It's gonna be either Tuesday or Thursday, but more likely Tuesday. So tune in to us for that. Now for the business shout outs. We got, again, this is Diamond Denver, Bennett Nutrition, over at 475 Palmer Avenue, Bennett, Colorado, 80102. They specialize in Wow Meal Replacement Shake. So meal replacement shake. So instead of having that breakfast in the morning, you have a shake. Instead of having that lunch, you have a shake. And it helps you to lose that weight, but it gives you all the dietary needs that you have to have, the nutrients that you have to have, but it helps you lose that weight and helps you curb your appetite so you can start dropping those pounds. They also do lit energy teas. They're open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. They off on Sundays. All right, we got King's Touch and Shine Like Royalty. King's Touch, you can go on that website. He sells t-shirts that with the King Touch logo on there, hats, t-shirts, all that stuff you can get off of them. Then he has a beard oil, Shine Like Royalty. Also, Cole the Empress was on our show. She has that beard oil too. You guys need any of that information, just inbox us on that. We got Sweet Productions Photography and Videography. You can look them up at facebook.com, cecil.parent.507. Phone number 720-436-9822. So if you want to do senior pictures, family pictures, you want to, those of you rappers who want to make a videography, they do, reach out to them and they'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. Go ahead.
We also got what was that? Alexis Mays, Essence of Bomani Customs. That she does all that essence oils,
and she does the candles, and incense and things of that nature.
Jahala Walker, Hands of Oshun. You can reach her at 979-481-6757. She does bath bombs, body washes, scrubs, massages, all that good stuff. This is Business Friday here on Mike and Mike at Night.
Awesome. Our news, our business. So we talking about the black-owned businesses today. We're gonna get into some pretty deep stuff. We're gonna because we have kind of like just touched the surface, and we have so much to share today that we didn't want to take time from anybody else with us sharing this information. So we want to share this information with you all and let you guys know exactly what goes into building a business, and also what type of business we're talking about when we talk about black-owned business. We have some surprising things to share with you when it comes to black-owned business and what a business actually is. We've talked about the difference between a business and a hustle. But we want to get with you guys today and let you know some different things as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break and we're going to jump right into it. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here with us. Hey, I knew y'all wanted to hear a little bit of Joe. I heard somebody out there saying, hey, man.
I want to know.
If y'all can play some Joe for us today. But anyway, let's get right on into it. We're talking about the black-owned businesses. This is what I want to say to my black-owned businesses real quick. Because I was talking to someone today, and they had some critiques for us. And the same way that we want to give praise, how we want to give the love, support, and protection to our black-owned businesses, wouldn't be right if we didn't share some things with you and try to put you up on a little bit, I'm not going to call it game, but a little bit of knowledge on how to run your black-owned business. Now, I'm not coming from a place of saying, well, I've had 1,000 different businesses, but I have worked in the industry. I do have some experiences that, as well as my man right here, we work for the big corporations. We know what it means to have a healthy and sound running business. I have my master's degree in business administration, so there you go. Well, actually, I don't. I take that back. I think I'm like 2 or 3 credits shy of my MBA. So I'm all right. I mean, I think I'll be okay. It won't be too bad. But anyway, so check this out. This is where we want to go with this. Etiquette, black people. Etiquette. When you're dealing with people, what you want to do is you want to deal with them as though your business and your life's business depended on it, because it does. When we hear the adage, the customer's always right, that's not just a saying. That is a key to success. You always want your customers to leave happy, because they will give you either positive or negative press. And that positive press will help to secure your bottom line. If you get negative press, it's going to go bad news travels a lot faster and spreads a lot more wider than good news does.
Absolutely.
So you want to get a lot of good news out there. The other thing, on our prices, I know black folks, you want to get some good quality product. You don't want to absorb too much of the cost. But let me tell you this, sometimes just starting out and establishing a good name, you will have to make some sacrifices in the price, because you're going to be able to get more people that way. When someone sees that you have this product or that product for $20, $25, and they can just go right down the street to their corner store or their dollar store and get it, yes, they can. And I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, but it's a black-owned business and they're supporting the black community. I get that. But what people are supporting more than even that is their bottom line.
We balling on the budget, y'all.
Period.
A lot of people balling on the budget.
Period. So when they want to make sure that their money is being spent wisely and that they're good managers of their income. So just want to throw that out there. Want to put that out there and let you guys know that customer service and price is something that we need to work on together as a community. If you guys can get the cost of goods down, then you can actually help, in that way. Yeah. A good thing D just said too. She's saying right on, D, word of mouth is big.
Yeah, it's huge. And that's when the customer comes, because I've heard about some businesses, I ain't gonna mention them, but you guys are on Facebook and you're promoting yourself and saying you're doing all these wonderful things. But then if you get a business that's just starting off with you and they're not spending as much money with you, and then you giving them their product late and their product is detained or that their product is behind, and then that word of mouth is gonna come back on you, and then you'll be very upset if you on Facebook talking all nice and how smooth and great your business is, and someone goes on your post and says, "Nah, this ain't exactly true," because we ain't gonna. A lot of people ain't gonna go to Yelp. They gonna go to you straight to the source, and they gonna say, "Hey, you saying this on your Facebook? I still ain't got my business cards. I still ain't got this product from you."
Right.
So you got to make sure, you make a mistake with a customer, you own up to the mistake, you go and get it fixed, and you tell them, or you reimburse their money, or you saying, "Hey, on your next order, you'll get a discount." You got to give the customer something. You got to do something for the customer. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. But if you get an attitude with somebody, you just messed up future revenue because they're not going to come back to you. So somebody that could have been a consistent long-time customer and spend thousands of dollars with you over a year's time, you only get that small little first order from them, and then they don't touch you no more because you didn't do the right thing when you made a mistake.
Okay, so and thank you very much. Go ahead and shoot her out for that as well, because these recommendations are crucial to marketing. Thanks a lot, D. And D's running let's go ahead and plug her. D, put your information in there so people can get T-shirts from you too, because she's talking the right stuff.
Yeah.
So you drop into the comments, and she's also making T-shirts as well. Yeah. Now check this out. This is what I have always learned to live by, not just in life, but also in business. Under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Do not over deliver and under promise. Because if you do that, you're going to have a lasting problem. You're going to send a lot of people away unsatisfied. If you can under promise and over deliver, people are going to be happy with you every time. They're never going to take anything away from you on that note. Another thing we kind of wanted to get into, and this is the reason why we didn't have anybody sit in today, because we kind of wanted to get into the whole aspect of building a business and what that actually means. Now, we understand that there's a difference between a business and a hustle. Now, what does it take for me to start a hustle?
Nothing.
You just a little bit of
motivation, some product, and go and
do it. We've seen a lot of people become millionaires and very successful off of just a hustle. We've seen people sell CDs. You got a lot of rappers that just sold CDs out their trunk. You have a lot of people that just sold cookies or pies or just offered, cleaning services, all sorts of things, and that was basically their hustle.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, what we need to do is make sure that we're running a business and running it effectively. Now, my man's going to get in here in a minute about running a business effectively and what that takes. But I just want to start with something real simple. When you go, because we only talked about this, but we didn't get into it. When you go to establish your business, first you want to have a business plan. You want to have a model that you put together. Now, this is going to help you when it comes to securing like a business loan. If you want to, go to a bank or something like that, or you want to find some type of fiduciary establishment, basically fiduciary, somebody who's controlling funds that can lend you the money based on what they believe your product can do. Now, a lot of times before you do that, you want to come to them with numbers, with cold hard numbers, so that they can understand this is your business's potential, and then they can loan you money based on that. You can go to the SBA if you want to learn a little bit about that, the Small Business Association or something like that in Colorado, and they'll show you how to come in contact with some of these small business investors. Now, the other thing, when you're establishing a business, there's two things that you're going to need. You're going to need your EIN, which is Employee Identification Number, I believe that stands for. So you're going to need that EIN, and that EIN you can get on the IRS.gov. You can go there and you get your EIN. Now, your EIN is your like a social security number.
Yeah.
So that'll go with you wherever your business goes. If your business goes to another state, then all you have to do is take that EIN with you. You can still have a DBA, and what a DBA is basically doing business as. Doing business as. So you gotta, if you go get that DBA, that DBA can change, but basically your EIN will be up under that umbrella. Now the other thing you're gonna need is a state, basically a state EIN, and I forget what they call that, but
Yeah.
a state tax ID.
Yeah, it's a tax ID.
So you're gonna have to get that state tax ID. And then you're gonna have to go to the Colorado Gov website, and you can get that on there.
Now remember, the EIN is like your social security number. So you can have a business off your social or off your EIN. And that's why it's so important to make sure you're doing your business right, because you know if that your social security number follows you for your whole life.
Right.
Your EIN follows you for the whole life of your business. So that's how important it is with it.
And let me just throw something else out here. Now I'm not trying to give anybody any backdoor information to try to do their baby mama dirty, but I'm gonna just say this to the brothers out there and some of the ladies that we have that pay child support.
Yeah.
Your business is a separate entity from yourself.
Yeah.
So your baby mama can't come taking money from your business because that's a totally different situation. Also, if you do happen to get a loan under that EIN, make sure that you're protecting that like a what? Like a small child.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and your business, that EIN, that sticks with you. It doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. That's yours now forever as long as you do business. So you have that EIN, and you also have that state information that you need to get before you get active. It's not very expensive. You can go do it. You can do it right. You can do it on your cell phone if you want to. You can do all these things, get them done, and then you have a little bit more backing when it comes to actually collecting an income based on the product, the good or service that you're offering everyone. Mm-hmm. The other thing, now you know what? A brother like me generally isn't at a loss for words, but I forgot. I lost my thought real quick. But anyway, what we wanted to get into also was the budgeting, because I told you before, after the break, that I would tell you something that was very important when it comes to owning a small black business. Black folk, y'all need to understand this. Every person, every black person is a small business. Mm-hmm. Everybody. So don't think just because you don't have an EIN, guess what you do have? A social security number. Don't think just because you don't have a state ID, you still have what? A birth certificate. Mm-hmm. So everybody is a small business. When people look at your credit report, that's like a financial statement. It tells me your earning potential. It tells me your trustworthiness, your ability to pay back bills. Yeah. So all black people, period, are a small business. And you need to conduct yourself as such, which means that you need to make sure that you're budgeting for the things that you need. Now I wanted to give my man here, Mike at Night, our news, our business. I wanted him to share with you a little bit about what it means to be in a business by yourself and the things that you need to do, and also being married and what you got to do.
So, you got to establish a budget, first and foremost. You got to have a budget. And I do mine on a spreadsheet, but you got to have a budget because you got to know what you got coming in and what you got going out every single month. Because if you don't know what you got coming in, you got going out, how you going to know what you got left over? And that what you got left over in the household is going to be that extra things that you do with your family, go out to the movies, go on vacations, invest, go buy some stocks with it and everything. Because after you take care of your bases, then everything else is extra, and then you can do with that extra money. So you got to have a budget to know where you're going at. And with a business, you got to have a ledger. You got to know where your money, you got to know what expenses you're covering. You got to know, if you got a t-shirt company, how much you buying for the t-shirts? How much are you paying for the imprintation that goes on the t-shirts, the stitching that you put on the t-shirts? How much are you paying for shipping? How much are you paying for all those costs? Because you got to know what your costs are. Because if you don't know what your costs are, how you gonna know how much money you're gonna make off of it? So you got to get what your costs are, and then what you got coming in, and then what you got left over. That's gonna be your profit. But if you don't write it down, you're just winging it, and you're not really looking at it, you don't have it on a spreadsheet, because you want to keep that budget the same consistent thing every month. On a business, you should know how many T-shirts am I average in a month. So you don't want to overspend and go buy 1,000 T-shirts in 1 month unless you get a super deal, but you only slinging 100. But now you got these 1,000 T-shirts that's sitting there. And yeah, you can sell them over time, but if you don't have the money to do that, then you say, I average 100 T-shirts, I'm going to get 150 for this month. That way you have a budget and you're not going too far over it, and you're not spending that extra money that you don't need to, and you're bringing more profit to yourself.
And you also, with that being said, you have to, there's a ratio that you have to figure out how much does it cost you to put the product out,
yeah.
and how much are you charging for the product.
Yeah.
Because if it's costing you $5 to create a widget, and you're only making, and you're selling that widget for $5.50, that's not a line of business that you should be in. Because if your units aren't that high, 50 cents is not enough money to be spending $5 per unit.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have a gap that's wide enough to make sense for you to do business.
Yeah.
So if I can buy whatever the cost of my goods are, if I can buy them, or if I can do this service,
buy them wholesale,
exactly. If I can do this service at a certain price, and I can charge twice that service or twice that cost of that widget or whatever, and still make an income, and at the same time you still have to be competitive. You can't say, oh, well, my goods cost me this and I'm gonna charge this.
Yeah.
Because if that cost is too high, you are not gonna be competitive.
And then what's the most important, because we keep talking about EIN, you gotta pay your taxes. Because believe me, you ain't paying your taxes on that profit that you make. Uncle Sam, they may not get you today, they might not get you tomorrow,
but they gonna get you
this year, but eventually they gonna come get you. So you got to make sure that you're paying your taxes, and you got to look at all those things. And this is no different than when you're at home. You're paying your taxes, but you can't go on your paycheck and file exempt or file file 5 on your W-2, and you only got one kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
5 dependents, and you only got one kid. Because then all of a sudden IRS is going to look into that, and you're not paying out what you're supposed to. So make sure that you're taking care of the IRS. Make sure, because when you're doing your business, it's just if you're making a good profit and you're making good money after all that, then that's what you want to be. That's where you want to go. Because especially if you got your own job and you got your business, that's extra income, and that's just another income stream that you got coming in.
And so that's what I want to try to. I want to reiterate that fact, and I want you guys to pay special attention to that as well. We need to make sure that there's a balance between the cost of our goods, what we're charging for our goods, and that competitive balance. Because just because you got the cost of goods down and you're charging so much for them, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be strapped with a bunch of inventory. And that inventory starts moving slow, it starts costing you money. You don't want to have too much inventory, because if you do, you can go broke just like that too, because now you're doing is selling stuff, and all you're doing is sitting on product and you're not able to move it.
Yeah, in the economic world, it's called, you got to have an equilibrium. And you got to make sure that you're not overspending for your product. You're not overcharging. It's got to be an equilibrium for both. And you got to make sure your product, there's a need for it. There's a want for it. People have a need for that product. You got to make sure that that's going on in order for you to profit.
So, and when you do that, to make sure that you do have a need, just to piggyback off of what you said, to make sure that you have that you have a need out there, what you do first is you benchmark. And benchmarking in business, what that means is you go out and you see businesses that are just like yours. Get their financial statements. Look at what they're doing. See how they're profiting off of that. Then you can compare what you're doing as to whether or not you'll do that. And black people, because we have you in this space right now, when you guys see those businesses being posted inside of our comments, reach out to those people. Talk to those people. Hey, if I'm doing beard butter and this person's doing beard butter, let me holler at them. This is your brother. This is your sister. You guys are not in competition. You are not in competition. Our pool is too small to be in competition with each other. There's enough money out there for everybody. Don't worry about running out of money, because this world is not going to run out of money. Trust me. Somebody's sitting on way more. There are a bunch of people sitting on way more than they need, and there's enough left for all of us. So this is what I want to say also. Go out there and benchmark. Do a SWOT analysis. A SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You want to make a proper SWOT analysis for yourself before you go into business, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Got to know what the demand for your product is.
At all times.
Got to know what the demand is.
At all times. So just wanted to throw that out there to you guys today. Put you guys up on a little bit of knowledge when it comes to, starting a business and maintaining a business. If you have any questions about that, what we want you all to do is drop us a line in our inbox. I know always some people don't always want to get on here and share their, personal credit, like, I didn't know that. So hit us up, get us inside of our Facebook feed, drop us a line, inbox us, and ask us these questions, because I guarantee you, even if we might not know the answer right off, we'll know where to find it. And there are very few that I trust me, there are very few that I wouldn't be able to answer when it comes to the business world.
Are you guys, just like, we're not experts by any means. We're just going off of what we learned to do in our life and the knowledge that we gained that we necessarily didn't get from our parents because growing up and things of that nature. But you can Google everything. You can do
YouTube.
Google. I'm looking at a Google website now. How do you figure out demand for a particular product in the market? 5 key determinants of demands for products and services. How to calculate market demand for your e-commerce business. So there's so many things of knowledge. I mean, when we grew up, you had an Encyclopedia Britannica. That's all you had in your house. I mean, you got these little computers in your hand, and they're full of wealth and knowledge. So sometimes you got to get off the Facebook, but not at 6 p.m. between 6 and 7 for the Mike and Mike show. But after the Mike and Mike show, get off there, go look at things, and educate yourself. And even if you're starting up a business right now and you haven't been doing these things and you already got a business started, it's no time like the present to get everything lined up so you don't have troubles at a later date.
And if you are a small business, and you're a small business, and you're not putting your talents to work, get off Facebook and get on Indeed. If you have money, you got a strong bottom line, get off Facebook and get into Robinhood or Ameritrade or E-Trade and find out some ways to increase your bottom line, because what we're living for is our legacy, and to make sure that we can make that generational wealth to take care of those that are coming behind us.
Supply and demand, folks. And supply and demand is so huge, because if you have a small supply and the demand is high, then you can charge a lot. But if you don't have a high demand, or you got competition out there and your prices are way higher than everyone else, then guess what? They're going to go to the competition because your prices are way too high. So you got to see what everybody else is paying on average and what other people are charging, and try to be somewhere in that group so you're not overcharging people, so they will continue to come to you. It's like the difference in people going to versus Target versus Walmart, Safeway versus King Soopers. You guys see out here in Denver, kind of Safeway, Albertsons have gone by the wayside because Walmart and King Soopers are so much cheaper when you go in there overall. I mean, I go to Safeway sometimes, and for a little packet of some marinating mix for my steaks I put on the grill, you talking about a whole $1 difference. One is $1 and the other is $2. So you're not going to get a lot of people coming and buying that product from you, or they're going to go somewhere else if you are charging way too much for your product.
Right. So make sure that you definitely have competitive pricing. Well, we just wanted to throw that out there to you guys today, kind of put you up on a little bit of game as far as, or a little bit of knowledge as far as how to start the business. So if you kind of missed the beginning of this episode, what you want to do is you're going to go back and listen to it. We kind of gave some techniques, some tools, some tips on how to start a business, the difference between a federal and state EIN or tax ID number, why that's crucial and important. And also, another thing I want to reiterate is our customer service, our etiquette when it comes to our black businesses. We have to make sure that our customer service is good and that our pricing is also efficient. So go back through, listen to it one more time if you need to. We kept it short and sweet for you guys today, but we'll definitely see you on Music Monday. We got a treat for you guys on Music Monday, so make sure you tune in.
This is Mike and Mike at Night. Our news,
Our business.
Love, support, protect.
Love, support, and protect always.
Have a great
LSP.
weekend.
Hey, appreciate you guys today.
Holla at your boys.
Pushing on the sun, don't rain all the time. There's gonna be some heartache and pain. Woke up Sunday morning, got a little bad news today. They say my